Let me tell you something you already know. Most people live their entire lives locked in a cage they built themselves. Not a cage made of steel or iron, but of excuses, comfort, self-doubt, and fear. And the worst part, they threw away the key the moment life got hard. The moment things got uncomfortable, they quit. Gave up, settled, decided that mediocrity was good enough. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not here to sugarcoat a damn thing. I'm here to ask you one question that will either wake you the hell up or confirm you've already quit. When was the last time you did something that made you question who you are? Not something convenient. Not something safe. I'm talking about something that hurt. Something that scared you. Something that forced you to face that inner voice, the weak, soft, lazy version of you that's been running your life on autopilot. That voice in your head, the one that says, I'm tired, I deserve a break, it's too cold, I'm not ready, maybe tomorrow. That voice is lying to you every single day, and you believe it. You let it make your decisions. You hand it the keys to your life, but buried beneath all that noise, there's another voice. It's quieter. It's harder to hear, but it's always there. That voice says, get up. That voice says, you're not done. That voice says, prove them wrong. Prove you wrong. That's the real you. That's the savage you locked away the first time life punched you in the mouth and you stayed down. See, people talk about motivation like it's magic. They wait for it like it's a bus that's running late. Let me be real with you, motivation is trash. Discipline is king. Because when the alarm goes off at 4 a.m., motivation ain't getting you out of bed. That's pain. That's purpose. That's why you think I want to run in the freezing cold. You think I want to feel my legs give out on mile 20? Hell no. But I do it anyway. You know why? Because I don't negotiate with weakness. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you get weaker. Every time you say maybe later, you're training your mind to quit, to tap out, to fold under pressure. But every time you fight through pain, every time you do one more rep, one more mile, one more page, when your body is screaming stop, you grow. You evolve. You become the kind of person no one can break. Pain is the price of greatness. No one's coming to save you. No magic moment, no hero, no shortcut. It's just you and the challenge. So I'm throwing down the gauntlet right now. Unlock your inner challenge. Unleash that beast you buried under years of excuses and soft living. Start today. Right now. Not tomorrow. Not Monday. Now. I don't care where you are in life. I don't care how to shape you are, how broken, how lost. I care if you're willing to suffer, to sacrifice, to suffer some more, and then wake up and do it again. Because that's what it takes. You want confidence. Earn it. You want respect. Build it. You want freedom. Fight for it. This is war. A war with the version of you that's been lying to you for years. A version that's fat, scared, addicted to dopamine and distraction, always looking for the easy way out. No more. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, what am I really capable of? Then chase the answer with everything you've got. Start with something simple. Get up early. Go for a run. Not for fitness, for mental armor. Take a cold shower. Do something that sucks. Read instead of scrolling. Train your mind to do what's hard because it's hard. And when your body says stop, tell it to shut up. You run your mind now. People are always looking for the secret. Let me give it to you straight. The secret is doing the work no matter how you feel. Every single day. There are no hacks, no cheat codes, just grind, suffering, and a whole lot of lonely, quiet pain while no one is watching. But that pain, that's the door. On the other side is power, self-respect, freedom. The only way out is through. And when you get through, when you finish that run, when you do that workout, when you write that page, when you sit with your demons and don't flinch, you unlock something that no one can take from you. You unlock the savage, the warrior, the real you. That version of you, it doesn't care about opinions. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need comfort. It's forged in discomfort, tempered in failure, sharpened by discipline. And it shows up day after day, mile after mile, rep after rep when the world goes soft and quiet. So if you're tired of quitting, if you're tired of looking in the mirror and seeing a shadow of your potential, step into the challenge. This isn't a game. This is your life. You get one shot. One body, one mind. Don't waste it trying to be normal. Be obsessed. Be relentless. Be uncomfortable on purpose. Suffering isn't the enemy. It's the path. You want to change. Then suffer. Bleed. Cry. Crawl. Then stand the hell back up and go again. That's how you unlock your inner challenge. That's how you earn the right to say, I don't stop when I'm tired, I stop when I'm done. Now get out there and get it done. Comfort is a slow death. Choose suffering on purpose. Every day, people wake up and chase comfort like it's a prize. They hit the snooze button. They skip the gym. They take the elevator instead of the stairs. They scroll their phones for hours instead of doing the hard work that actually matters. And every single time they choose comfort, they move one step closer to dying without ever having truly lived. Because comfort feels good in the moment, but it kills progress. It softens the edge. It numbs your hunger. It tells you that you're fine where you are, when deep down, you know you're not even close to your potential. When you live in comfort, you avoid the truth. You avoid challenge. You avoid the mirror. You avoid becoming someone you can respect. Growth doesn't happen when everything is easy. Growth comes from tension, from pressure, from the days where you want to quit but don't. From the moments when you're standing in pain and fear and say, let's go anyway. People don't become strong by accident. They become strong by enduring on purpose. They choose suffering. They choose to go toward the hard things, not because they enjoy the pain, but because they understand what the pain produces. Because suffering, when chosen, is transformation. It forges discipline, resilience, character. It shatters the limits that comfort quietly wraps around your life. Look around. The world is addicted to easy, fast food, fast money, instant gratification. Everyone wants the reward, but no one wants the work. Everyone wants the results, but they won't pay the price. That's why so many people stay stuck. They're waiting for motivation, for convenience, for something to feel right, but that moment never comes. Because real change doesn't wait for your permission. Real change shows up in pain and demands that you answer. That's why you have to go find suffering. You have to manufacture discomfort. You have to put yourself in situations that stretch you, scare you, break you, because that's where the power is. That's where the next version of you is hiding. You don't get stronger by staying in the warm bed. You don't get sharper by avoiding the fight. You get stronger by walking into the storm and saying, I'm still standing. Every time you choose the hard path, every time you do the thing that sucks, you're telling yourself, I'm not like the rest. You're proving that your mind runs a show, not your feelings. You're choosing suffering on purpose because you understand that comfort has one outcome: decay. Physical decay, mental decay, emotional decay, and eventually regret. Regret is what comfort buys you. All the dreams you didn't chase, the person you could have become, the strength you never built, comfort took that from you. And no one wants to be on their deathbed wishing they'd suffered more. But the truth is, most people will, because they played it safe. They avoided risk. They hid from the pain. They lived in fear of discomfort, and that fear ruled their life. You've got one shot at this, one life. And every day you waste in comfort is a day you lose in purpose. So stop looking for balance. Stop chasing easy. Start chasing the things that scare you. Wake up earlier than you want. Run farther than you think you can. Sit in silence when your mind wants distraction. Do the things that hurt. On purpose. Because when you learn to suffer by choice, the world can't break you. Life can't surprise you. Pain can't control you. You become the one in charge. You become untouchable. Your mind is your strongest muscle trainer daily. People spend hours in the gym building their bodies, obsessing over reps and sets, counting calories, tracking macros. They sculpt their physique to look good in the mirror, to feel powerful in the flesh. But most of them are walking around with weak, undisciplined minds, minds that break under pressure, minds that quit when things get hard, minds that are out of shape, and it shows not on their bodies but in their lives, in their excuses, in their failure to follow through, in the way they crumble when life punches them in the face. Your mind is the command center, the engine, the source. Your body is just a vehicle. It does what the mind tells it to do. So if the mind is soft, the body follows. If the mind quits, the body shuts down. But if the mind is strong, truly forged in fire, then there is no situation, no setback, no suffering that can break you. Because when the mind is trained, you become dangerous, unstoppable, unshakable. And that kind of strength doesn't come from reading books or watching motivational videos. It comes from doing the work every single day, whether you feel like it or not. Training the mind means doing the uncomfortable. It means voluntarily putting yourself in places where most people would fold. It means getting up early when you're dead tired. It means running when your legs are heavy. It means choosing the hard path on purpose just to see if you can. Every time you do something hard, your mind gets stronger. Every time you override the voice that says, I can't, you build mental muscle. You become the kind of person who doesn't need motivation because you've trained discipline. Discipline is the result of mental training. It's not a feeling, it's a weapon. It shows up when motivation doesn't. It drives you when everything else tells you to stop. And it only comes through reps. Just like lifting weights, your mind gets stronger with repetition. With suffering, with pressure, you've got to lift heavy in the mind, take on challenges that terrify you, step into fear, get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's how you build mental endurance. But here's the truth, if you don't train your mind, life will. And life doesn't care if you're ready. Life will throw death, failure, betrayal, illness, and chaos at you. If your mind isn't strong, those things will break you. But if your mind has been hardened by routine, by discipline, by relentless self-expectation, you'll be ready. You won't fold. You'll rise. Most people let the world train their mind passively. They let social media control their attention. They let fear make decisions for them. They let pain become a reason to stop instead of a reason to push harder. But the people who win, the ones who dominate in life, they take control. They train the mind like a soldier trains for war daily, aggressively, intentionally. No excuses. Mental training means no more lying to yourself. No more I'll start tomorrow. No more I'm just not that kind of person. You challenge those thoughts. You question your limits. You put yourself in the fire and let it burn away the weakness. You build calluses on your brain just like on your hands. And each scar is proof that you showed up and did the work. It's not about being born tough. It's about becoming unbreakable, one choice at a time. When you train your mind daily, you become someone who doesn't negotiate with fear, who doesn't flinch in the face of adversity, who doesn't need external approval to keep going. You become your own engine, your own fire, your own fuel. Discipline will take you where motivation never will. Motivation is a liar. It shows up when things are easy, when the weather is perfect, when your body feels good and your mind is clear. But the second things get hard, it vanishes. It disappears when you need it most. That's because motivation is emotion-driven. It depends on how you feel in the moment, and feelings are fragile. They change with your mood, your surroundings, your energy levels. You can't trust motivation to carry you through anything that matters. It's weak. It's temporary. It's undependable. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't negotiate. Discipline shows up every day, rain or shine, tired or not, with or without applause. It doesn't care if you're not in the mood. It does the work because the work needs to be done. Discipline is the difference between saying you want something and actually going after it with everything you've got. It's the execution, the repetition, the grind, the quiet consistency that most people avoid. Everyone loves the idea of greatness until they see what it costs. It costs early mornings, long nights, isolation, pain, repetition without recognition, the discipline to do the same boring, brutal thing over and over again because you said you would. That's where the gap is. That's why most people stay average. They're waiting to feel like it. They want the fire to light itself. But the ones who rise, the ones who build something real, they light their own fire. And they do it every single day, whether it burns hot or not. You don't need to be talented to be disciplined. You don't need money or followers or a perfect plan. You need commitment. Ruthless, unshakable commitment to showing up and doing the hard thing even when it sucks. Especially when it sucks. Discipline is built in the moments when quitting feels easier. When everyone else would stop, you keep moving. not because you're better, but because you've decided that quitting is no longer an option. People say discipline is restrictive, but that's a lie. Discipline is freedom. Freedom from the chaos of inconsistency. Freedom from regret. Freedom from the mental gymnastics of deciding what to do every day. When you're disciplined, the decision is already made. You do the work, period. That clarity is power. That consistency is strength. You build discipline by choosing the hard way when the easy way is right there begging you to take it. You build it when you push through fatigue, when you silence the excuses, when you finish what you started. Discipline means you show up to the gym even when you're sore. You hit your goals even when no one's watching. You stay sharp even when no one's checking. You're accountable to yourself, and that's all that matters. Motivation may get you started, but it will never carry you across the finish line. It can't. The real finish line isn't a race or a number. It's who you become. And who you become is forged in the fire of repetition, struggle, and sacrifice. That fire burns hottest when you stop waiting to feel ready and start demanding results regardless of how you feel. Discipline is a habit. It's not flashy. It's not sexy. It's early mornings. It's lonely reps. It's the quiet grind while others sleep. It's doing it wrong, fixing it, and doing it again. It's showing up broken, tired, and doubting and still getting it done. Because your word means something. Because your goals aren't optional. Because your standard is higher than your mood. The real growth lies on the other side of pain. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the doorway. It's the teacher, the test, the mirror that shows you who you really are. Most people spend their lives avoiding it. They run from discomfort like it's fire, not realizing that fire is what forges steel. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It doesn't come from easy wins, from perfect conditions, or from doing what you already know how to do. It comes when you're in the middle of the storm, when your legs are shaking, your lungs are burning, your mind is screaming, and you keep going anyway. Pain reveals your limits. More importantly, it reveals how you react when you hit those limits. Most people quit. They tap out. They convince themselves it wasn't worth it, that maybe they didn't want it that bad. They retreat back to safety, to what's familiar, to what doesn't hurt. But nothing grows in safety. Nothing changes in the familiar. Growth demands pain, not just physical pain, but emotional pain, mental fatigue, doubt, fear, humiliation. It demands that you risk failure, that you risk looking foolish, that you risk it all for the chance to become someone new. You can't build toughness without suffering. You can't gain wisdom without hardship. You can't know strength until you've been weak and had to fight your way out. Pain strips away the ego. It strips away the lies you tell yourself. It forces you to see the truth. And that truth is often ugly. It shows you how unprepared you are, how much work you still have to do. But that's where the growth lies. Right there in the raw, painful, humbling reality that you're not there yet. And that's exactly why you need to keep going. Every scar has a story. Every story has a lesson. And every lesson is a brick in the foundation of the next version of you. The stronger version. The unbreakable one. But you can't get there without walking through fire. People want transformation without the suffering. They want strength without the struggle. They want the results without the sacrifice. That's not how this works. If you want to grow, you have to bleed. You have to sweat. You have to cry. And then you have to show up again tomorrow and do it all over. Growth is painful because it's death and rebirth. It's the death of who you were and the birth of who you're meant to be. That process isn't supposed to feel good, it's supposed to hurt. That's how you know it's real. When your body wants to shut down, but you push through. When your mind says, I can't, but you do it anyway. That's the moment you become more than you were yesterday. Not when it's easy, when it's hell. That's the moment you level up. You earn growth. You don't find it. You don't stumble into it. You suffer for it. You pay for it with every ounce of pain you're willing to endure. And the price is high, which is why most people never get there. They don't want to feel pain. They want shortcuts. They want smooth roads. But smooth roads don't make strong drivers. Easy lives don't make strong people. The people who've been through hell, who've taken the hits and kept going, those are the ones who've grown, who've evolved, who've earned the right to stand tall and say, this is who I am now. The path to growth is brutal. It's full of failure, fear, setbacks, and sacrifice. But every step through that pain is a step forward. Every time you embrace it instead of running from it, you take back power. You stop being a victim and start becoming a warrior. You don't fear the pain anymore, you use it. You become it. Because you know that pain is not punishment. It's progress. It's the proof that something inside you is changing. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your level of preparation. In the moments that matter most, there is no magic switch. You don't suddenly become stronger, faster, sharper just because the pressure is on. You don't rise to greatness because the spotlight is on you. You fall. You fall to the level of work you've done when no one was watching. You fall to the habits you've built, the discipline you forged, the reps you've banked when it was hard, boring, and thankless. Pressure doesn't create champions, it reveals them. It exposes whether or not you did the work when it was inconvenient, when it sucked, when it would have been easier to coast. Everyone wants to shine in the moment, but the moment doesn't care about your wishes. It cares about your preparation. It tests whether or not you've bled for this, whether you've trained your mind to be calm in chaos, whether you've suffered enough to be comfortable in discomfort. If you haven't, you crack. You fold. You panic because you built your confidence on hopes, not on hard-earned proof. And when the moment hits, that weakness shows. Preparation is the foundation. It's not about one big effort, it's about thousands of small ones. It's the runs in the dark, the lifts when you're sore, the studying when your brain is fried. It's showing up every day when no one's clapping. It's choosing excellence over and over again until it becomes who you are. That kind of preparation can't be faked. It shows itself in the moments when everything is on the line and you stay steady, stay focused, stay fake dangerous. You don't get lucky under pressure, you get exposed. The ones who look unshakable in high-stress situations aren't born that way. They've trained that way. They've simulated failure so many times that the real thing doesn't scare them anymore. They felt pain, fatigue, fear, and kept moving. So when the world tries to break them, there's nothing new to have already been there. That's why they don't rise. They just do what they've always done. They fall back on their baseline, and their baseline is excellence. Most people want to skip preparation and just figure it out when the time comes. But the time doesn't wait, and it doesn't care. When life puts you in the fire, there's no time to prepare. You either burn or you don't. You either train for this or you didn't. That's why you prepare like it matters every day. Because one day it will. One day the stakes will be high. One day everything will depend on what you did when no one was watching. And when that day comes, your preparation is your only lifeline. You train when it's boring, so you don't break when it's brutal. You rehearse excellence in silence, so it's automatic when it's loud. You condition your mind to keep composure under pressure, so that when the storm comes, you don't flinch. This is what separates elite from average. The elite don't gamble on the moment, they build for it. They prepare so thoroughly that performing under pressure is just muscle memory. There's no fear. There's no doubt. There's only execution.